best way to escape from summer heat is to go to the ocean. Along the long coastal line in China, there are a number of cities you can go to for your summer vacation. In this episode of Travelogue, I take you to two of them. Small yet charming, they are Shan'tou and Wei'hai. Let's enjoy the sunshine and the wind together.
The Shandong Peninsula juts into the Huanghai and Bohai Seas in eastern China. On its northern and eastern tip sit Shan'tou and Wei'hai, beautiful, slow-paced seaside cities surrounded by many maritime legends. These legends have become inspiration for artists to decorate the cities. The region is also one of the best places in China to grow grapes, and these are the source of many of the nation's best wines. And from the generous ocean comes an endless harvest of sea produce. The natural abundance also includes the many scenic wonders. As well as historic sites of value. If you want to spend a lazy vacation embracing the beach, summer sunshine, while savoring some Chinese culture, make Shan'tou and Wei'hai your next destinations. They are quiet, clean, never crowded, in short, perfect urban haven close to nature.
I've got a ticket for our next stop. It's Changdao, or the Long Island. Wait a minute, it's not the Long Island you know from the United States. This Long Island is in Shan'tou, and people call it the Fairyland. 谢谢.
Changdao, or Long Island, is actually about 24 small islands. The resort is blessed with pristine beaches and crystal waters, as well as bizarrely shaped cliffs dating back to prehistoric times.
This is the view you shouldn't miss on Long Island. People call it 九丈崖, which means a cliff of 9 zhang. Actually, it's 69 meters tall in total and stretches 400 meters over there. Now, what's so special about it? It was formed 100 million years ago during the movement of Earth crust. So I would imagine every layer of it is rich and full of history.
Nobody would deny that nature is a gifted artist. What human force could imagine and generate this kind of landscape? Another Long Island attraction is Crescent Bay. This is a good option for the vacationer. The beaches here are formed not by fine sand, but by fine, colorful pebbles. Many people spend their holidays here looking for the most beautiful. On Long Island, you can rent a boat for a half-hour trip out to sea.
such a beautiful place. It reminds me of many scenes in movies like Mission Impossible 2 or James Bond. Great place for adventure lovers. You can try some swimming here. The water is cool and clear. Of course, you can also try some rock climbing. Very nice walls. But remember, whatever you try, the most important thing, your own safety.
Around here and in most places where people make a living from the ocean, the Chinese equivalent of the patron saint is Ma Chu, the goddess of the sea. Here in Shan'tou, the goddess lives on the Miaodao Island, which means Temple Island. It was first built nearly a millennium ago. Historic records show that around that time, big boats from Japan and Korea all made stopovers here to refresh supplies. While the boats stocked up on fuel and water, people went to the temple asking for a blessing from the goddess.
Almost every family around here has their own boat. Sometimes when the boats run into some danger on the sea, but yet made a narrow escape, people would believe it was the goddess of sea protecting them. So what would they do? The owners would make a model of their boat, exactly the same, like this one or this one, and bring them into this temple. It's their special way to say, "Thank you, goddess of the sea."
If you come around April and May, you shouldn't miss Bird Island. Around this time, hundreds of kinds of migrating birds come here to nest and breed before heading south. The most common bird is, of course, the seagull. Sometimes you can stand among some 60 to 70,000 seagulls on the island. Remember, to catch this spectacle, the peak nesting season is April and May.
Looking from here, the Long Islands really meet the Chinese people's imagination where gods should live. And this is also the best spot to see mirage during summer and spring around here. But thousands of years ago, people didn't know it's mirage. They really believed they see gods living on some small hills on the ocean. So they built a whole group of structures on this hill to make sure they can see the gods from time to time. Now let me introduce you 8 of the most famous gods in China.
Penglai is a group of old buildings sitting on the top of Mount Penglai. They are famous because legend has it that Ba Xian, the 8 gods, once left from here on a sea voyage after having a boisterous banquet in Penglai. Each of the gods has their unique personality and special charm, and all are household names in China. None of them rank very highly in the hierarchy of Chinese mythology, yet all are reputed to lead an enviable, carefree life. Right at the foot of Penglai is another ancient structure that is worth a close look. It's called the Water Fortress, and it's the best preserved, oldest navy base in China. The fortress was designed so that outsiders couldn't see the inner sea from the entrance. That way, the enemy couldn't tell how many warships were stationed inside. The setup deprived them of the information needed to mount an effective attack. Naturally, the fortress takes a top strategic position.
During Tang Dynasty, Penglai was called Dengzhou Harbor. It was the largest harbor in northern China. At the time, it was the first stop for people coming from Korea and Japan to stay. Just from here, they went to the capital Chang'an.
Okay.
Today, you still can find the Dengzhou Harbor in the documents of Korea and Japan.
Okay, so like it was famous 1,000 years ago.
Yes, 1,000 years ago.
How does this water fortress work?
In fact, it's mainly for defense, not for fighting.
Defense.
Yes. And if the enemy is coming from the sea,
The Japanese pirates.
yes, their warships inside in the inner sea could come out and fight with enemies.
Okay.
Or they could close the door. And you can see the walls here, just like the Great Wall in Peking. It's very high. It's difficult to be climbed up, so the city could be quite safe.
Okay. Be impenetrable.
Yes.
The last stop in Yantai, we made to the Mo's Manor. People call this place the largest feudal landlord home complex in northern China. It was first built in the early 18th century. At its peak time, the manor had 5,500 rooms, more than half the number of rooms in the Forbidden City. The Mo family was so influential that it has its own medicine shop and workshops opening onto the whole neighborhood. The family flourished for 7 generations and finally declined by the end of the Qing dynasty.